Ladies, let's talk. Have you ever wondered why some women seem to effortlessly draw men in while others struggle to keep their attention? It's not about being the prettiest, the smartest, or even the most accomplished in the room. It's about the energy you project and the boundaries you uphold. High-value women understand this deeply. They know that some things are better left unsaid. Why? Because when you reveal too much, too soon, you risk losing your mystique, your power, and the balance of your relationship. But let me ask you this. Have you ever shared something deeply personal with a man, only to feel it was used against you later? Have you ever felt the sting of being taken for granted after pouring your heart out too quickly? You're not alone. These common pitfalls happen when we, as women, try too hard to connect or impress, often at the expense of our own self-respect. The truth is, there's an art to what you share, when you share it, and with whom. It's not about deception or playing games. It's about knowing your worth and protecting your emotional investments. In this video, we're diving into the 5 things you should never tell any man if you want to maintain your power, allure, and respect. These aren't just relationship tips. They're transformative secrets rooted in Stoicism and the Dark Stoic Psychology of human connection. You're about to discover why holding back can be your greatest strength. You'll learn how to create an irresistible allure that draws men to you without sacrificing your authenticity. And most importantly, you'll unlock the key to becoming a woman who knows her value and ensures the right man recognizes it too. So, are you ready to take control of your love life and master the art of connection? Let's get into the first thing you should never tell any man. Your past, at least not too soon. 1. Don't overshare your past too soon. Your past is a storybook filled with triumphs, heartbreaks, lessons, and regrets. It's what has shaped you into the incredible woman you are today. But here's the thing. Not everyone deserves to read that story from cover to cover, especially not in the early stages of a relationship. When you share too much too soon, you're not just opening a door, you're flinging it wide open, inviting someone into a space they may not be ready or trustworthy enough to handle. Have you ever felt the overwhelming urge to spill your heart out to a man you barely knew? Maybe the conversation was flowing, the chemistry was electric, and you thought, this is it. He's different. But then, weeks later, you noticed his interest waning, or worse, he began to use your vulnerabilities against you. Sound familiar? Here's why this happens. Vulnerability is a powerful thing, but it needs to be earned, not freely given. When you reveal your darkest moments, mistakes, or traumas too early, you risk overwhelming him or creating a dynamic where he sees you as less confident and more dependent than you truly are. It's a harsh truth, but one that's crucial to understand if you want to maintain your position as a high-value woman. Let me paint a picture for you. Imagine you're on a 3rd date and the conversation turns personal. He shares a funny story about his childhood, and before you know it, you're diving headfirst into a painful memory about an ex who betrayed you or a family issue that still stings. While you might think you're fostering intimacy, he might see it differently. He might think, why is she telling me this so soon? Or worse, is she carrying baggage she hasn't dealt with? This isn't to say your past isn't important or that you should hide who you are. It's about timing. Sharing too much too soon can create an imbalance, where he feels the weight of your experiences before he's emotionally invested in you. Instead, focus on building trust over time. Let him earn the privilege of knowing the parts of you that are most tender and raw. And let's not forget the flip side. Some men, especially those who are manipulative or emotionally unavailable, will take your honesty as an opportunity. They'll use your stories as leverage to control, diminish, or guilt you later. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. It teaches us the importance of discernment, of knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. You might be thinking, but how do I know when it's the right time to open up? Great question. The answer lies in observing his behavior over time. Does he listen without judgment? Does he demonstrate empathy through his actions, not just his words? Does he make you feel safe, respected, and understood? If the answer is yes, then slowly, piece by piece, you can share your story. Remember, Stoicism is about maintaining control over what you can, your thoughts, actions, and emotions. In this case, it's about controlling how much of yourself you reveal and when. Your past is a gift. Treat it as such. Don't hand it out to just anyone, and certainly not before you've established whether they're worthy of it. So, next time you feel the urge to overshare, pause and ask yourself, has he earned the right to know this part of me? Will this bring us closer, or am I seeking validation? The answers might surprise you. Ladies, your past is part of your power. Hold on to it. Protect it. And when the right man comes along, the one who sees you for all that you are, he'll treasure every word you choose to share. That's the magic of being a high-value woman. You're not just someone to love, you're someone worth discovering. 2. Beware of his sweet words without actions. Words have an undeniable charm. A whispered compliment, a heartfelt promise, or a well-timed "you're the most amazing woman I've ever met" can send butterflies fluttering through your chest. But here's a sobering truth, ladies. Words alone are cheap. They can intoxicate, manipulate, and blind you if you're not careful. And that's why high-value women always look beyond the words to the actions that follow, or don't. Let me ask you this. Have you ever found yourself hanging onto a man's sweet words, only to be left questioning his sincerity later? Maybe he told you he wanted something serious, but his actions screamed otherwise. Perhaps he showered you with compliments, only to vanish when things started to get real. These moments sting, don't they? They leave you wondering, was it all a lie? Here's the truth. Many men know exactly what to say to draw you in. It's not always malicious. Sometimes it's just human nature to want to impress or charm someone you're attracted to. But this is where you, as a high-value woman, must step back and observe. You can't afford to get caught up in the whirlwind of what he says. You must focus on what he does. Consider this scenario. He says he'll call you at 8 p.m. You wait, excited and nervous, but the phone stays silent. The next day, he apologizes profusely, blaming work, his phone battery, or a sudden crisis. He promises it won't happen again. But it does. And again. Do you see the pattern? Sweet words, empty actions. And yet, how often do we let it slide, convincing ourselves he means well? Ladies, here's a harsh but liberating reality. A man's words are only as valuable as the actions that back them up. If he says he cares, he'll show up when you need him. If he promises commitment, he'll prioritize you in his life. And if he tells you he respects you, his behavior will reflect that respect. Anything less is just noise. Now, let's talk about why we're so easily drawn to words. For many of us, words represent validation. When a man says you're beautiful, intelligent, or unlike anyone he's ever met, it feels good, amazing, even. But here's the kicker. Validation from others is fleeting. High-value women understand that true validation comes from within. You don't need his words to feel worthy, you already are. So how can you tell if his words are genuine or just smoke and mirrors? It's simpler than you think. Watch how he treats you over time. Does he follow through on his promises? Is he consistent in his efforts, even when life gets busy or complicated? Does he show up when it matters? These are the actions of a man whose words mean something. But what if he doesn't? What if his actions fall short of his declarations? That's when you need to lean into the principles of Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what we can control, our responses, our standards, and our choices. You can't control whether a man lives up to his words, but you can control whether you continue to accept less than you deserve. Here's a powerful exercise. The next time a man says something that makes your heart skip a beat, pause and ask yourself, how has he demonstrated this in his actions? If the answer is unclear, don't ignore it. High-value women don't settle for promises, they demand proof. And let's not forget, ladies, that actions don't have to be grand gestures. Sometimes it's the little things, a thoughtful text, a genuine apology, a consistent effort to check in and show he cares. These moments speak volumes. They show that he's invested, attentive, and serious about building something real. But when his actions don't match his words, what should you do? Simple. Step back. Create distance. Allow him to show who he truly is without your influence. This isn't about playing games. It's about giving him the space to align his words with his actions, or not. And if he doesn't, walk away. Because a high-value woman knows that staying in a situation where actions don't back up words only drains her energy and confidence. Let me share a quick story. There was a woman named Emma who fell for a man who constantly talked about their future together, marriage, travel, even the names of their future kids. At first, she was thrilled. He seemed so invested. But over time, she noticed that his actions didn't align. He rarely prioritized her, often cancelled plans, and avoided deeper conversations about their relationship. Emma ignored the red flags, clinging to his words, until one day she realized something powerful. If he wanted to, he would. That realization was her turning point. She walked away, and in doing so, reclaimed her power and self-worth. And guess what? Months later, she met someone whose actions spoke louder than any words ever could. A man who proved his feelings through consistency and care. Now it's your turn, ladies. Ask yourself, are you holding on to a man's words, or are you demanding the actions that make those words meaningful? It's time to take control of your relationships and raise your standards. Remember, you deserve a man who doesn't just talk the talk but walks the walk. If this message resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let me know how this has inspired you to rethink the way you approach a man's words versus his actions. And don't forget to subscribe for more insights into the art of connection, stoicism, and unlocking your highest potential. This is only the beginning. Together, we'll rewrite the rules of attraction. Stay tuned. What's coming next will leave you empowered and unstoppable. 3. Don't let attraction cloud your judgment. Let's be honest, attraction is intoxicating. A glance from across the room, a smouldering smile, the way he exudes confidence without even trying. It's like he has a gravitational pull, and before you know it, your heart is racing, and your thoughts are consumed by him. Sound familiar? We've all been there. But here's the catch. Letting physical attraction lead the way can blind you to a man's true character. Have you ever found yourself defending a man's poor behavior just because you couldn't resist his charm? Maybe he's gorgeous, funny, or just has that thing that makes your pulse quicken. You tell yourself, he's not perfect, but look at him. Surely I can overlook this one flaw. But then one flaw becomes 2, then 3. And before you know it, you're excusing actions you'd never tolerate from someone less attractive. Why? Because you let the surface blind you to what's underneath. Here's a truth that will set you free. Attraction is fleeting. The way he looks at you, the way he makes you feel in the moment, it can all fade if his character doesn't measure up. And believe me, no amount of physical beauty or charm can make up for a lack of kindness, respect, or integrity. Let me ask you something. When was the last time you paused and asked yourself, who is he really? Not just the version of him that shows up on dates, but the one that emerges in everyday life. How does he handle stress? How does he treat people who can do nothing for him? How does he respond when things don't go his way? These are the questions that reveal his true essence. Think about it this way. A man's charm can be compared to a beautifully wrapped gift. It catches your eye, draws you in, and makes you curious. But what happens when you unwrap it, only to find that what's inside doesn't live up to the packaging? Disappointment, because as much as we love beauty, it's substance that keeps us invested. High-value women know this, and they make it their mission to look beyond the surface. They don't let their emotions cloud their judgment. Instead, they embrace a mindset rooted in stoicism, focusing on what they can control, like their perspective, rather than being swept away by external distractions. Let me share a story to bring this to life. A woman named Clara met a man who was everything she thought she wanted: handsome, confident, and magnetic. He had the kind of presence that turned heads wherever he went. Clara was captivated. But as the weeks went by, she began to notice subtle red flags. He was dismissive of her opinions, unreliable with his promises, and quick to anger when things didn't go his way. Despite her growing discomfort, Clara told herself, "He'll change. He's just stressed. Besides, I'm lucky to be with someone like him." But deep down, she knew better. One night, after yet another broken promise, Clara realized something. She was falling for the idea of him, not the reality. And that idea was costing her peace of mind and self-respect. Clara walked away, and while it wasn't easy, she knew it was the right choice. Months later, she met someone who didn't just look good on the outside but had a heart to match, a man whose actions were consistent with his words and whose character aligned with her values. That's when she realized what true attraction looks like. It's not just physical, it's emotional and intellectual, too. Ladies, the next time you find yourself drawn to a man, take a step back. Observe how he lives his life. Does he treat others with kindness? Is he reliable and consistent? Does he add value to your life? Or is he simply a fleeting thrill? These questions will guide you to a deeper understanding of who he really is and whether he's worthy of your time and energy. This is where Dark Stoic Psychology comes into play. It teaches us to master our emotions and approach relationships with clarity and purpose. Attraction is powerful, but it should never overpower your standards or your intuition. Remember, a man's looks may catch your eye, but it's his character that will hold your heart. Here's a practice to try. The next time you feel captivated by someone, write down 3 non-physical traits you've observed about them. Are they compassionate? Do they follow through on their commitments? Do they bring positivity into your life? If you struggle to find answers, it might be a sign that your attraction is based more on appearances than substance. High-value women don't settle for superficial connections. They know their worth and understand that true love isn't about being swept off your feet by a pretty face. It's about building something real with someone whose values align with yours. So, don't let the pull of attraction steer you off course. Stay grounded, stay discerning, and always remember, you deserve more than just a handsome face. You deserve a man who treats you with the respect and care you truly deserve. The next time you meet someone who seems too good to be true, pause and ask yourself, am I seeing him for who he really is? Or am I blinded by what I want him to be? Trust me, the answer will change the way you approach love forever. 4. Never sacrifice your happiness to please him. Let's get real for a moment. How many times have you bent over backward to make a man happy? How often have you ignored your own needs, silenced your voice, or put his desires above your own, just to avoid conflict or win his approval? Ladies, this is one of the biggest mistakes a woman can make, and it's time we talk about it. Sacrificing your happiness for someone else might seem noble, even romantic, but here's the truth. It's a dangerous trap. When you make his happiness your sole priority, you're sending a powerful message not just to him, but to yourself, that your needs don't matter as much as his. And over time, This dynamic can erode your confidence, your joy, and your sense of self-worth. Ask yourself, how often have you found yourself in a relationship where you're constantly giving, yet receiving so little in return? Maybe you've stayed late to help him with a project, rearranged your schedule to accommodate his, or even put your dreams on hold because his seemed more important. Did he appreciate it? Or did he start to take you for granted? Here's the thing. Relationships should be about partnership, not sacrifice. When you consistently put his needs above your own, you create an imbalance. And trust me, men notice this, even if they don't say it outright. The unfortunate reality is that when you give too much of yourself, some men will take advantage of it, consciously or not. But why do we do it? Why do we feel compelled to sacrifice our happiness for someone else's? The answer often lies in societal conditioning. From a young age, many women are taught that being selfless and accommodating is a virtue. That putting others first makes us good partners, friends, and people. While there's value in kindness and generosity, these traits can become destructive when taken to an extreme. Let me share a story. Maya was a successful, vibrant woman with big dreams and an exciting career. Then she met Tom. Tom was charming, ambitious, and seemed like the perfect match. But as their relationship progressed, Maya found herself slowly letting go of the things that made her happy, her hobbies, her goals, even her friendships. She thought, if I make him happy, he'll appreciate me more. He'll see how much I care. But the opposite happened. Tom grew distant. He stopped putting in effort, and Maya felt like no matter how much she gave, it was never enough. One day, she realized something life-changing. I've lost myself trying to keep him. That's when Maya decided to take back her power. She began prioritizing her happiness again, reconnecting with her friends, pursuing her passions, and setting boundaries. And guess what? Tom noticed. He saw the confident, radiant woman he had fallen for in the first place. But by then, Maya had learned an important lesson. She didn't need his approval to feel whole. Her happiness came from within. This is the essence of Stoicism. It teaches us that happiness isn't something we find in others, it's something we cultivate within ourselves. When you rely on a man for your joy, you give away your power. But when you take responsibility for your own happiness, you become unstoppable. So, how can you avoid sacrificing your happiness to please a man? Start by identifying the areas where you've been giving too much. Are you constantly changing your plans to accommodate him? Are you compromising your values or ignoring your own needs? Take a step back and ask yourself, am I doing this because I want to, or because I feel I have to? Next, set boundaries. This doesn't mean being cold or distant. It means valuing your time, energy, and happiness as much as his. If he truly cares about you, he'll respect these boundaries. In fact, he'll admire you more for having them. And remember, a high-value woman never loses herself in a relationship. She knows that her happiness isn't just important, it's essential. When you prioritize your joy, you inspire others to do the same, including the man you're with. Ladies, your happiness is your power. Don't give it away. The right man will uplift you, not drain you. He'll celebrate your victories, not compete with them. And he'll respect your boundaries because he values the confident, self-assured woman you are. If this message resonates with you, like this video and comment number 1 below. Let me know how this has inspired you to rethink your relationships and reclaim your happiness. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more empowering insights. This is your time, your life, and your journey. Own it. Stay tuned because what's coming next will take your self-worth to an entirely new level. 5. Don't pour out your love too quickly. Love is a beautiful thing, isn't it? The thrill of meeting someone new, the spark of connection, the endless possibilities of what could be, it's intoxicating. But here's a hard truth. When you pour out your love too quickly, you risk sabotaging the very relationship you're trying to build. High-value women know that love, like trust, must be earned, not handed over on a silver platter. Let me ask you this. Have you ever met a man and felt an instant connection so strong, you just couldn't help yourself? Maybe you started texting him all day, sharing your innermost thoughts, and doing everything you could to show him you cared. And then, out of nowhere, he pulled away. The warmth in his messages faded. The calls became less frequent. And you were left wondering, what did I do wrong? Here's the answer. You gave too much too soon. When you pour out your love at the beginning of a relationship, you're skipping the natural progression of building connection and trust. You're offering him the depths of your heart before he's had a chance to earn it. And while your intentions may be pure, this kind of emotional overinvestment can actually have the opposite effect. It can make him take you for granted. Think about it. If something is too easy to get, how much do we truly value it? It's human nature to appreciate what we work for. When you hand over your love without hesitation, you're sending the unspoken message that your affection is easily won. And unfortunately, some men will see this as an invitation to take you and your love for granted. But why do we do it? Why are we so quick to give all of ourselves in the early stages of a relationship? For many women, it comes from a place of hope and excitement. You've met someone who seems amazing, and you want to show him how much you care. You want to prove that you're invested and serious about building something real. But here's the thing. Love isn't a race. It's a dance, a delicate balance of giving and receiving. Let me share a story. Samantha was a woman who loved deeply and gave freely. When she met Jason, she was immediately drawn to his charm and charisma. Within weeks, she was cooking him elaborate dinners, planning weekend getaways, and even hinting at future plans together. Jason seemed appreciative at first, but over time, Samantha noticed a change. He started cancelling plans, became less attentive, and eventually told her he wasn't ready for something serious. Heartbroken, Samantha couldn't understand what went wrong. But when she reflected on the relationship, she realized that she had overwhelmed Jason with her love before he had the chance to match her energy. By giving so much so soon, she had unintentionally created an imbalance that made him feel smothered. This is where the principles of Stoicism and Dark Stoic Psychology come into play. Stoicism teaches us to temper our emotions and approach life with a sense of balance and restraint. In the context of love, this means pacing yourself, allowing the relationship to unfold naturally rather than rushing to the finish line. So how can you avoid pouring out your love too quickly? Start by reminding yourself that true love is a two-way street. It's not just about what you're willing to give. It's about what he's willing to give in return. Observe his actions over time. Does he make an effort to know you, to understand your needs, to show up for you when it counts? Or is he content to let you carry the emotional weight of the relationship? Next, set boundaries. High-value women know that boundaries aren't barriers, they're guidelines for how you expect to be treated. By setting boundaries, you're teaching him that your love is a privilege, not a given. And when he rises to meet those standards, the relationship becomes a partnership built on mutual respect and admiration. Finally, practice the art of mystery. You don't have to reveal everything about yourself right away. Let him discover you slowly, piece by piece. This not only keeps the relationship exciting, but also allows him to appreciate the depth and complexity of who you are. Here's a mantra to live by. My love is a gift, and only the deserving will receive it. When you adopt this mindset, you'll find that your relationships become more balanced, more fulfilling, and more aligned with your true worth. Ladies, remember this. A man who truly values you will take the time to earn your love. He won't expect you to hand over your heart without effort, and he'll cherish it all the more because of the journey it took to get there. So don't be afraid to hold back, to take your time, and to let love grow naturally. You're not playing hard to get, you're showing him that your love is worth the wait. In the end, the most powerful relationships are built on mutual effort, trust, and respect. When you pour out your love too quickly, you risk tipping the scales. But when you pace yourself and let the relationship unfold with intention, you create a bond that's not only strong but also enduring. Your love is your power. Use it wisely, and only with those who prove they're worthy of it. Because when you love yourself enough to set the standard, you'll attract a man who meets it, and together, you'll build something extraordinary. Ladies, let's take a moment to reflect on everything we've explored today. Being a high-value woman isn't about perfection. It's about knowing your worth and protecting it. It's about mastering the art of connection without losing yourself in the process. The 5 things we've discussed aren't just rules, they're life-changing principles that, when embraced, can transform not only your relationships but also your entire outlook on love and self-respect. Think about it. Your past is your story, your words are your power, your happiness is your strength, your love is a gift, and your attraction is your magic. By guarding these aspects of yourself, you ensure that the man in your life values you as deeply as you deserve to be valued. What's the ultimate takeaway here? It's that you have the power to shape your relationships by being intentional, discerning, and unapologetically confident. Men are drawn to women who know their value, who don't settle, who don't give too much too soon, and who always maintain their sense of self. This is the essence of Dark Stoic Psychology and Stoicism in modern relationships, protecting your peace while building meaningful connections. Here's a question to ponder. How would your life change if you started prioritizing yourself as much as you've prioritized others? How would your relationships look if you set boundaries, paced your love, and demanded respect without compromise? The answer is simple. You'd step into your power as a high-value woman, and the right man, the one who truly sees your worth, would rise to meet you. Remember, these principles aren't just about avoiding mistakes. They're about elevating your standards and attracting the love you truly deserve. So, what will you do with this knowledge? Will you continue the patterns that leave you feeling undervalued and unseen? Or will you take the first step toward becoming the woman who commands respect, admiration, and loyalty? The choice is yours. If this video has inspired you, share your thoughts in the comments below. Tell us which of the 5 principles resonated with you the most, or share your own experiences of how protecting your power has transformed your relationships. Let's create a space where women uplift and empower each other. And don't forget, if you found value in this message, hit that subscribe button and join our growing community of high-value women. Together, we're rewriting the rules of attraction, one powerful insight at a time. Ladies, thank you for being here, for investing in yourself, and for choosing to step into your power. Here's to love, connection, and the journey of becoming your best self. Until next time, stay strong, stay radiant, and remember, the love you seek begins with the love you give yourself.